Have you recently found yourself experiencing old thoughts, memories, emotions, and feelings that you thought had been dealt with in the past, circling back into your awareness now? If so, you're not the only one. I've been experiencing this too, and there is a really good reason for this. I'll be talking more about this and why this is happening in this video. I'll also be talking about how we can address these things, bring them into greater balance, harmony, and alignment in order to clear them and to move forward in a new way. I wanted to make this video because I know that there are other people who are currently going through what I'm also going through. This cycle that's going on right now is a cycle where there are big emotions, big feelings, big things we've dealt with in the past that we thought we had left in the past, but they're coming back around and cycling back around for us to revisit them in new ways. And this isn't unusual. This kind of thing happens from time to time. However, right now it feels like it is bigger than usual, a bigger event than usual. There's more weight to it. It's just a bigger experience than what normally happens when these emotions come around, these memories come around to be addressed. So in this video, I'll be talking a little bit more about that, and I'm going to start with my own experiences. Over the last few days, I started feeling these really big emotions coming on. And they're very intense emotions. Just going to take a deep breath there. They're very intense emotions that I have not felt since I went through major depression 6 or 7 years ago. So these big tidal waves of emotion have been coming up for me. And they feel very scary when they happen because if you've ever experienced depression, you know that this type of emotion feels all encompassing. It feels like it's everywhere. You can't just think a better thought or do something simple to get out of it. It's kind of like, for anyone who hasn't experienced depression, it's kind of like the feeling of grief where you're in it and there's not really a door you can open to just get out. You have to sit in this. But with depression, it feels different than grief. The emotions feel low. They feel lower. I don't know how else to describe it other than they feel very scary when they come up. They're very alarming. And the first day that this happened, which was a couple days ago, I found myself getting caught up in it. It's very easy to get swept away in this type of giant emotion. It kind of reminds me of the sea because, you know, if there's a rip current or something, it takes you. Like you just get carried away with it. And that is what the feeling was like. And so it came back the following day, which was yesterday, and I was actually glad that it came back because I have this internal feeling like I just know what to do with it. And I know that we're supposed to be working with these emotions as they come up. So when the emotion came back up, I was glad because I actually had forgotten what it felt like because it's been so long since I had depression. Obviously, the mental experience of it, of actually going through it, that doesn't go away, but the feelings subside. Our feelings subside. Thank God they subside. All types of feelings that we experience do. But so I couldn't actually remember the tangible feeling of what I was experiencing while I was depressed anymore. So this was a little drop in the bucket, a little reminder. So I experienced the feeling I didn't like, and then I also recognized that this was an opportunity for me to work with it. So as much as we don't want to feel these difficult feelings, they come up and provide us this opportunity to have a new experience with them, to do something new with them, to interact with them differently as the version of ourselves that we are today in the present. So when I felt this big emotion coming back, what I did was first I recognized that this was happening. So awareness. Awareness is key to everything. Because a lot of times what happens when we don't have awareness is we are aware to a degree that these old memories are coming up, these old thoughts, these things that we thought had happened in the past, and why are we thinking about them now? But awareness is recognizing that we're having those thoughts and then realizing that we can do something about them. And this is the gold, this is the magic, this is how things change. This is an opportunity. So I began holding space for these emotions that I was feeling, these very deep, difficult emotions, and I didn't try to resist them. I didn't try to chase them away because I know that that does not resolve them, and I would simply continue to feel them even if I tried to do those things. And I recognize that if they're showing back up now, that if they're coming back up now into our consciousness, then there's something that can be done about it. There's an opportunity to work with it now. So I held the space and I welcomed the emotion, and I just kept telling myself I'm holding the space, and to me what that means is I'm here, I'm present, I'm allowing space for this to be here with me, for this to also be here with me. I'm not trying to get rid of it. We're allowed to share this space together. And when I hold space, I also just in the background of my mind imagining light and I guess intention coming through. So intentionally holding this space, and I welcomed it and imagined myself giving this feeling a big hug. And then I imagined myself hugging the version of me who felt this before, who had this experience of depression in the past. This woman who was 6 or 7 years younger than I am now, who was experiencing it, and now that I have this perspective as the person I am today, I have this new opportunity to hold this old emotion in a new way, to invite it in a new way, and to release whatever needs to be released, to address whatever needs to be addressed. Perhaps it's just to not be afraid of it, to bring in love, light, awareness. I don't have to know the exact reason it's here. I just have to do my best to work with what has shown up, and that is enough. So when we experience these emotions coming back up and coming back around, they could be emotions, they could be thoughts, they could be memories, because these things are all linked together. So when we're experiencing anything from the past that we've felt before or that we remember from the past coming back up, it's coming back up for attention. It's coming back up so that we can work with it in a new way. So what we can do at this time is we can embrace the emotion. And if I could do this with a feeling as big as depressive thoughts coming in, then you can do this with any emotion too. So at the present time, there's this golden opportunity to dive into these emotions and these memories that we're experiencing and to work with them in brand new ways. We get to embrace them, we get to accept them, we get to face our fears, we get to dissolve them, clear them. We can write new stories. We literally can rewrite the past right now. So we can take these experiences and put a new perspective on them, see them in a new light, integrate them in a new way, give them a new meaning. When the energy comes up like this, it is ours to play with, it is ours to work with. So use it to your advantage. That is how we move through difficult things, by taking it and using it to our advantage. That's what I did with depression. That's what I did with the difficult feelings I was experiencing yesterday. They came up and I held the space for them, and I basically said, look, I'm not going anywhere. I am here to hold you, to work through this, to really provide the space for whatever is needed right now. And I'm not running away from it. And that's the thing, when we lean into our feelings instead of away from them, instead of trying to run away from them, then they start to transform. When we fully lean into a feeling and emotion, it starts to dissolve, it starts to integrate. There's this transmutation that occurs with them. And then they don't come back to hit us in the same way. So in a sense, I am thankful that these depressive thoughts came back to knock me upside the head, because they felt terrible when I was experiencing them. But as soon as I embraced them, then guess what happened? They started to go away. So the emotions that I was experiencing yesterday, once I held the space for them, they dissolved. The feeling dissolved. That intense feeling that felt like it was washing over me and that it could easily carry me away, it dissolved once I leaned into it, accepted it, and embraced it. So I was able to work with an old feeling in a brand new way. And that is a true gift. So we think these things are coming up and we're scared of them because they're painful, because we don't want to look at them. But they're actually a gift, an opportunity coming up for us to use, for us to work with, just to use to our advantage. So I'd heard that there was a retrograde going on right now, and I was curious to see what planet was in retrograde. Well, to my huge surprise, it is not just one planet in retrograde. Right now, we have 4 planets in retrograde, and there's about to be 5. We have Pluto, Neptune, Saturn, and Mercury, all in retrograde right now. And on July 30th, we're about to also have Chiron in retrograde. So that's 5 planets that are causing us to have this inward focus that feels like a backward momentum, because we're revisiting things. We're readdressing the past to move forward right now. And this retrograde feels very emotional. It feels very much about feelings and addressing big emotions, big events, big perhaps moments in our life. Revisiting our past self who had a completely different perspective than the person who we are today does, and the version of ourselves who we are today does. So I wanted to understand more about what was happening recently, and I went online and I found this great article on the Yoga Journal online, and it's written by Jordan Marie, and I'm going to go ahead and read you a couple lines from it. It says, "As the planets in our cosmos take a moment to retrace their steps, they take us on a journey through our past actions, selves, experiences, desires, and expressions. It is a retracing and reliving of what is still awaiting our presence, awareness, understanding, and compassion." So I thought this was beautifully said and beautifully put, because it's letting us know that these things are supposed to be here. They are supposed to come back around for our addressing, even though it feels like, why would that come back? I don't want that to come back. And the thing is that our lives are not just linear. Like, we don't just go from backwards to forwards. We move forward, and then when we have these periods of retrograde, depending on what is coming up during the retrograde, they're not all the same. But right now, with this big emotional clearing, we have this opportunity to revisit the past, work with it in a new way, and move forward as an even better version of ourselves. Someone who feels better, who knows more, who's more equipped to handle life and to just do the thing. And it's our opportunity, it's our gift, it's our right to use it this way. Right now, it feels like the planet Pluto is having a really big impact and effect on us as far as going, I see it as like an inward spiral going, you could say backwards in time, but going inwards and revisiting old scenarios, past events that need to be addressed and coming up for a clearing, that are coming up for a clearing. And I just know that Pluto is having a huge influence. I can feel it. It's like a feeling and a knowing inside. And I want to share a little bit of a different perspective on astrology. So, one version, some people say that the planets are showing us what's happening within us. And I think that's true, but it's not necessarily that the planets are influencing us, because that's what I used to think. But rather, they are a mirror reflecting back to us what is happening within us, within our own lives. So it's just a slight difference, but it is a different way to perceive of astrology and to perceive of what is happening and why these planets are so useful and why looking at astrology is useful. But the thing is, we can also feel it too. We also feel it inwards. I think astrology is cool because we can predict some things, but even then, the experience is your own to have. So I don't know if you can even truly predict a lot of the stuff that is going to happen internally. You can predict it to a degree, but it's your experience to live and it's your experience to have. And while we're on the subject of feeling these big emotions, because they'll be coming up for a lot of people, I just want to share another technique that I personally use that helps me. So when I am feeling very big emotions, a lot of times what I have been doing recently is getting out my phone and recording myself. So I'll talk into the camera on my phone and I'll just record it, and I'll record what I'm feeling, what I'm experiencing. And usually by the time that I get to the end of it, I'm having more clarity, these aha moments, and I'm feeling a lot more balanced. So that's one thing that you can do. But I would say always address it. Don't just succumb to the big emotions. Don't avoid them or try to like bury them and repress them. Like, okay, I don't want to feel it. Let me go eat some ice cream or something. Or let me try to watch a show. Because either way, your mind's still going to keep going back to it. The only way to truly dissolve these things is to lean into them, to embrace them, and to work with them. And our emotions are not bad. They don't feel good when we're experiencing the negative emotions. But the thing about them is they are actually trying to help us. They are trying to deliver a message to us, to get through to us. And sometimes the only way to get through to us is by causing us to feel these disruptive feelings because we can't ignore them. So if we think of them as these messengers and they're trying to do something good and deliver us a message, then perhaps we can be more open to what that is, to what it is that they're trying to show us and get us to look at. So when these emotions come up in a big way with anger, depression, jealousy, irritation, these just really big emotions, they are here to get our attention and to deliver a message. They want us to look at them so that we can experience them. And by integrating them, it's like the seas part, that big tidal wave just falls away and it's just this smooth, calm waters. So I want you to know that there are some big things coming up right now for a lot of people, and that it is okay and there is a reason for it, and that we're able to use this as an opportunity to work through it. And everybody's going to work through things differently. Take the tools that I've used, find your own. If you're really struggling, I always recommend getting professional help, such as counseling, life coaching, things along those lines. Just any kind of support can really help you move through big things. If you've enjoyed this video or found it helpful, please consider liking or subscribing, because it really helps this channel, and I would love to have you along for the ride. If you've been experiencing any of the things that we've talked about in this video today, any big emotions, I invite you to share them in the comments below, because I feel like the more that we share these things and other people can relate, it really helps out, and it's a whole community effort. The more people who are brave enough to speak up and to say, yeah, I've been experiencing something too, it just makes us all feel a little bit less like we're the only one going through something, and that is so invaluable. So thank you for showing up here today. I will see you in the next video.